welcome back to Seaside Garage. I am driving the car that we in Denmark are calling the Prince car. This is a Volvo 480, and this car was given to the now king of Denmark, not this exact model, but a turbo model of this. Unfortunately, the king did not answer the request to drive it, so I had to go one step down the ladder and contacted the mayor of the area that I live in. Søren Andersen owns this car, and he agreed to let me borrow it for a bit because this is a bucket list car of mine. I really like the Volvo 480. I had a Volvo 440 last year, some of you might remember that. This has been on the bucket list for long. Of course, the turbo model is what really gets me going, but even this 1.7 EFI edition is just so extremely cool and so un-Volvo-ish. It's just very different from anything else that Volvo was creating at the time. This is the first front-wheel driven Volvo. And it's quite a big turning point in the Volvo history, going from the rear-wheel driven big cars to this front-wheel driven small hatchback with pop-up headlights. It's very, very different from anything that Volvo was creating at the time. And to be honest, if I did not know it was a Volvo and the logos were blacked out, I am not sure what I would guess that this is. I think around 90,000 models were made of the 480. I'm not sure it was a big success selling wise because it was quite expensive. I think it was around 300,000 Danish kroners. I really like that I get to drive this one now because it feels a little bit like a tribute to the designer of this car, John de Vries. He actually sadly passed away 2 weeks ago. So it feels really right to get the chance to drive this now. It is a very interesting design. I don't think he designed a lot of cars. He did the 343 Volvo also, and maybe the 440, I'm not sure, but this is definitely different. The pop-up headlights, the rear glass hatch, the seating inside and all that. I need to make a tour of this car on the inside because it is quite interesting. The interior is something really special on this one that I really like. There's a kind of a airplane feel to it. I don't know why that is, but I think there is. But a pretty interesting rear seat arrangement. There is no middle seat, there is just a luggage compartment. So it is just a 4-seater, which is a little bit different. And the seats are also interesting that they are not a bench seat that you normally see on cars, especially from this era. It's interesting. It's only a 2-door, but the door is just enormous. So there's plenty of room to get in, even on the back seat. And then comes the instrument cluster, and this is where it gets quite interesting because, yeah, that's just a rev counter, pretty normal. The odometer and speedometer. And then over there we have something that could have been in a Citroen. This is the onboard computer. And let me just put it into ignition to switch it on. It's stating okay. Something is okay in this car, and it shows the level of fuel. And then with this dial down there, I can change selections. Currently it's on fuel, so if I put it one down, we are on econ. I can go up to speed. That gives me the average speed. It's 47 kilometers per hour. The range, it's driven 475 kilometers since the last reset. The oil temperature, 84 degrees. The water temperature, 91 degrees. And air temperature, 17 degrees. This was pretty cool back in the 80s. It takes a bit to get me impressed after owning the Renault 25 V6 Turbo for a while with the talking dash and all that. But this is very, very cool. And I like the way it's set up, and I like the completely analog toggle switch to switch between the very advanced settings up here. So I really like the possibility of checking both the oil temperature and the water temperature, for instance. That's really nice. And also the fuel, to see how much fuel it's using. It's currently, on this last trip, been using 7.9 liters for every 100 kilometers. So it's not that bad on fuel either. That's decent. Then we have a air system with different kinds of vents. The floor BL, I'm not sure what that is. Demister rec. I wonder what that can do. It's recycling, of course. It's using the air from the outside or inside. You can hear the actuators move around. It's quite cool. And then the fan speed, everything in here looks a lot like my Volvo 440 because they are closely related, of course. Over here we have the switch for the pop-up lights. Up there. Woo! It's a bit slow on the one side. It's just like it's supposed to be. And then this seems to have a pretty nice stereo installed. The only thing is that it's missing. I think it's a blanking plug. There's no stereo in this, but there is clearly some pretty nice speakers installed. I also saw these on the back seat. This looks pretty decent. So driving the Volvo 480, you instantly notice the pop-up headlights. It's something that doesn't exist anymore. I think due to regulations about safety for pedestrians and so on, it's no longer possible, as far as I know, to make pop-up headlights. But it is just a very, very cool thing that is just screaming 80s at you. Just one of those things that doesn't really have a big point, but just is very, very cool. But maybe, yeah, it got a point in countries unlike Denmark, because in Denmark you have to drive with driving lights all the time. You could actually just switch on the driving lights, the small ones, and go around like this. And it is making the car look a little bit more sleek without the lights up there. But it is just a very, very cool detail, and it makes you remember cars. I think for most petrol heads, they can name most of the cars with pop-up headlights. It's just an iconic feature. And this car handles really well. It's a pretty low mile. It got 163,000 kilometers on the clock. It's rust-free. It seems to be held in a good condition. And I really don't have any rattles or knocks or anything in the suspension. I do have a bit of a weird whine from the gearbox, I think. The engine is a 1.7 liter in this particular edition. It got 109 horsepower. And here we have it, a Renault derived engine, 1.7, single overhead, fitted with injection. And very Volvo-ish warning, self-starting fan. I don't know. I haven't owned a lot of cars where you had to manually start the fan, but yeah, now you know it can actually start all by itself. Interesting design of the engine mount or hydraulic dampening right there. It is actually quite smooth driving it down the road, and it feels all right for the size. The turbo model is of course the one you want, but it's actually only developing 120. which is 11 more than this. So I'm not sure you will feel a massive difference, other than of course the turbo gauge and the turbo lag, which is always fun. I'm just gonna do a quick 0 to 80 test just to see. Oh, what a lovely day to drive over the dam. It's a bit windy. It's feelable in the car, but it is well enough planted for it to make it interesting for sure. This is nice. But all in all, this car is pretty well equipped. It got electrical windows, it got heated seats, it got adjustable side mirrors electronically down here. It got that interesting onboard computer. And being a Volvo, it also got disc brakes all around. That wasn't that common in the 80s. So yeah, it makes sense that it was so expensive, but you really had to really want it to go for it back then, because it was that expensive. And I have a feeling that could be the reason why Volvo decided to give this to the Crown Prince, now King of Denmark, back in '86, because it's always a good selling point, and still to this day it is called the Prince car in Denmark. So it was a pretty good marketing stunt, at least. I think a lot more people know this car now than they would have if it wasn't for that thing. So a while back I decided to do some road tests like this, just to do something different from time to time. I'm not sure that I'm the best at it, but it's nice for me to do something else than just wrenching all the time, just to get out there and try some cars out. So I'm always looking for interesting cars to drive, but unless it comes with a paid journey, I am only going to pick up cars in Denmark. I got a DKV coming up. I'm also probably gonna go drive a Hummer very soon, the military version, and it is quite fun for me to do. And I also have the feeling that it's kind of a medicine against buying too many projects, just to go out and try something. And other times that doesn't work. For instance, the AX Sport. I need to own one of those now, and that's a bit of a problem because the prices has just rocketed. I am not gonna be able to afford buying an AX Sport, but I just need to. We'll see what happens with that. Anyway, I am going back to the town hall. The mayor needs his car back. I only had it for a couple of hours. So thanks to Volvo, thanks to the mayor of Assens, and thanks to the weather for being all right. It's a bit windy, but other than that, it's really decent driving weather. It's been a lot of fun to drive this. So thanks for watching. Don't forget you can support me by buying some merchandise or becoming a Patreon. It helps me out a lot. There is a direct line between the amount of support that I get and the amount of videos that I can put out. It's just that simple. I'm gonna do it anyway because I love it, but it makes it possible to make more of them. So it's a big help. Thanks for you guys who are already contributing. Oh, and one last thing. Hello there, King of Denmark. I assume that you're going to be watching this video because you have a Volvo 480 and we are all enthusiasts, aren't we? So I just want to say that I would like to try your 480 Turbo. So you can just comment that down below.